you're over 140 exams, then you're not able to be an effective leader for your business.
People think, no, I've got to do more exams so that I can do more dentistry. And the reason that you've done 1.5 and 1.6 and 1.5 and 1.7 is because you haven't hired the associate. You haven't freed up yourself to be able to do these things. There's a succinct method of doing this to where you can start to give the class 5s and the class 1s to the associate, not because you don't want to do them, but because your time needs to become more valuable. And by doing that, your business becomes more valuable. So now you can grow from 1.5 to 1.8, 1.9, $2 million.
All right, we are live and welcome back to another episode of My Dental Playbook. I'm your co-host, Gary Bird, and along with my friend, Dr. Blake Hamblin, we're following his practice from going from $2 million to a $10 million practice. And if you're watching right now, we're right in the middle of this. He's having an awesome year, record numbers, doubling year over year. And we are going to jump into the conversation that everybody has an opinion on and most people are wrong on. And it boils down to hiring an associate. And this is really important to understand because Dr. Blake's point of view is, hey, it doesn't cost anything to hire an associate. You're not going to lose money. You're just going to make more money overall. But there are trade-offs for it. I know a lot of people online are like, no, what about minimums? And people don't want to work these days and get off my lawn type guys. You know what I mean? All the kids are out here ruining the world. But there's a ton of opportunities. There's a ton of people to help. There's a lot of patients that would love to meet with your associate and you don't have room for them. So if you are a high-performing dentist, closing a boatload of treatment and doing a boatload of treatment, I should say, yourself, this is the episode for you. And we're going to film several of these and work through this problem. And before we do, make sure you check out our sponsor, Cherry. They're right down below. They're amazing. Dr. Blake uses them in his office. I have scores of offices that use them. We have a whole training on it. If you haven't checked that out, let us know and we'll get that to you. Now, the first question that we always get, Dr. Blake, and it seems like we go to these masterminds and it's like, okay, your homework this month is to go find an associate. That's like everybody's always first thing because they want to grow, but they don't have the capacity to grow. And a lot of it is because they're the bottleneck. So how do you know if it's like, should I hire an associate? Hey, there's only one reason that you're watching this podcast, and it's because you want to grow. We love My Dental Playbook listeners so much that we have a special gift for you. We have an AI overview that we do a deep dive into your market and tell you exactly what your competition is doing and how much it would cost for you to generate new patients through online marketing. If you're looking to grow, this is for you. There's a link down below. It takes about 15 minutes that we have to dive through that, and it's completely free. Check it out and continue to grow. Thanks so much for being a loyal listener. Back to the show. How do you know if it's like, should I hire an associate?
Yeah, I lived this world probably 2 years ago, and I was in the mastermind with T-Bone and Sully, and I learned so much through that process. And if they listen to this podcast, they'll kind of laugh because they'll just be like, yeah, see, I told you. But I'm convinced that what happens is when you get a really good provider that can handle a higher load of treatment than the average doctor, maybe per se, it's a fear of not being able to grow into that new world. Right. And so in our mastermind, we've got some docs that do $1.5-2 million a year by themselves, which is incredible. But they're like, but I can't hire an associate. And like, I was this doctor. So now I get to basically say, no, but you have to hire one now because you're redlined as it is. And so what I learned was, number one, when you feel like you've got a good marketing relationship with somebody, like what unlocked my willingness to hire Dr. Farrell as an associate in our practice was knowing that we could grow infinitely if I was willing to spend the money to do so.
I remember when that all turned on for you because not only you did like 5 things at once. You were like, new building, hire an associate, hire a bigger team, more like you really like you went all in once you realized I can get more new patients.
Yeah. And so I think that's what is really holding doctors back. I don't think they actually believe that they can't hire an associate. I think they just believe that if they hire an associate and that associate does $500,000 that year, that then that doctor is now going to go from doing 1.5 to $1 million a year, which would significantly impact their take home income. And I understand that and I get that. So what I would say is if you truly want to hire an associate, figure out how you can grow so that you can bring that associate on. But there's some things that we can talk about more in this episode of exam counts, different things like that I look for as well, that basically tell you like, hey, you can't afford not to hire an associate.
So I talk to doctors all the time. We were just at DSI. I probably had this conversation with 2 or 3 people. There's not a week that goes by that I don't have this conversation where doctors go, I want to grow and I want to hire an associate and I want to build a new building and I want to do all these cool things, but I don't know if I can because I have no idea what's going on with my marketing. I just spend $5,000 a month and I've been kind of in the same position forever. And what I would tell everybody to do, it's very simple. You have 2 options to figure it out. Like right now, this month, you can figure it out this month as you're listening to this. Number 1, just cut your marketing in half. Cut it in half. That's bigger risk because it could cost you some money. The one that's less risk, it does cost you some money, but it's a smaller amount of money than cutting your marketing, is double your marketing. So if you're spending $5,000 to $7,000 on marketing, just go double it. Go hit the gas on the gas pedal. And if you don't grow, that tells you that your marketing's not doing anything, right? Or there's some kind of something's really broken inside your practice. One of those things or both of those things can be true, right? Like as an example, if you double your marketing budget and no one's answering the phones, obviously you're not going to grow. So it could be operational or it could be marketing. And then you just have to find somebody who's going to help you close those gaps, both on the marketing and the operation side. So that's literally the simplest way that I've been able to figure out. Is our marketing working? Just turn it off or cut it down or double it. And you've gone through that, Dr. Blake. I've had these conversations where there's been times where it was like, man, let's not right now go up because we're not getting the return. Or, hey, let's get way more new patients and we turn everything up and the faucets come on. There's no denying marketing's working when you do that. Like, it's just like, yeah, we saw way more new patients. So that is the easiest way to figure out what growth is. Then you can have the associate conversation because now you're like, cool, we just doubled our new patients this month. We can get an associate. So let's assume that we move past that now. What are some other ways to know that, man, you're redlining as a doctor? Like you just can't do this long term. You might be able to do it for a year or a season, but you're not doing this long term. What are some things that you're looking at?
The thing that we see all the time, and again, I can speak from experience because I was doing the same thing, is a single doc practice doing $1.5 to $2 million a year. And they're doing 200, 250 exams a month. I mean, I didn't believe this until I actually started living this out, but anything more than 140 exams per month for a single doctor, you're not going to be getting as much as you can out of those other exams that you do over, right? So if you're doing 140 exams, anything over so if let's say you're doing 220 exams a month, you need an associate, and they're not going to be as productive and they're not going to be as fast, but those exams are going to be way better than you coming in and being slammed running 2 columns, checking 3 columns of hygiene, and you're just missing stuff and you're not able to have the conversations. And it's not about time. It's not about sitting down for 30 minutes with each patient that you see to get them to close treatment. It's simply sitting down and feeling the freedom to have the conversation with Gary about what are the concerns, what are the issues, are we aware of these things? And when you're just running on a treadmill and you're running and going, you can't have those conversations effectively. So looking at exam count, counting how many periodic exams are we doing? 140 or more, you need an associate. If you're doing more than 30 CUP exams, another sign you might need an associate.
So if you're over, another way to say this is if you're over 140 exams, then you're not able to be an effective leader for your business.
Yeah.
Is that right? Because you just don't have the time to do it, right?
For sure. Well, and people think, no, I've got to do more exams so that I can do more dentistry. And the reason that you've done 1.5 and 1.6 and 1.5 and 1.7 is because you haven't hired the associate. You haven't freed up yourself to be able to do these things. And there's a succinct method of doing this. to where you can start to give the class 5s and the class 1s to the associate, not because you don't want to do them, but because your time needs to become more valuable. And by doing that, your business becomes more valuable. So now you can grow from 1.5 to 1.8, 1.9, $2 million. And then once you figure that out, the light bulb comes on, and then you realize how you can leverage other people to help grow the business.
You know what? Over the years, I've watched doctors do this where they push themselves way past this number. And the number one sign that I try to explain to my team so we can be as empathetic as possible is that you do dentistry all day, then you hop on a vendor meeting or a team meeting or something, and you are just like mad. you're just angry, and you just instantly just like bam, and everybody else is like, oh. And I try to explain to my team, guys, all that means is he probably was just doing like 8 hours of dentistry, and he's just poking his head up, and now he sees that, you know, new patients are off track by 2, and he's going to crash out on you about it. Like, that's just the way it works. And so if you're in that position, if you're getting angry about everything, you don't have time to fix anything, and instead you just yell at everybody to fix it, probably means you're doing too much. And if you bring in an associate, you can start to work on the business. And I think that's awesome. Now, to answer the question, because I posted on Facebook and I said, why wouldn't you hire an associate? It's basically free to hire them. The number one thing everybody said, not everybody, but a lot of people who disagree, some people totally agreed, but the people who disagreed, they said, no, not today. Not today's dentist. If you hire an associate, you got to pay him a minimum. You got to pay, you know, they're not willing to work. They're not willing to put in the time. They don't want to learn. What's your thoughts on that? Like, what's your answer to that?
The dentist that wants to work for me would not accept the minimum. They wouldn't allow it. They would want to have unlimited potential to grow. And not that if you that you can't give them a adjusted production, collections, commission off that, but the type of human being that would want to work in with me and that I would want to work with them doesn't want a minimum. And we do minimums. We do minimums for the first 3 months because we want to make sure that it's our job in the first 3 months to make sure that you're onboarded correctly and that you understand the systems and the protocols and how we do things. We can train you and coach you and teach you. But then after 3 months, if you can't go out and take those things and do it, then you're just not the right fit, and we'll move on. To me, that's a leadership problem.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it goes back to the initial problem that we said too, Dr. Blake, is like, for me, if I was a dentist, I want to work at your practice because there's a boatload of opportunity sitting in front of me. But
that was the other thing I was going to say.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the other thing is that when you've gone to all the CE and you know how to teach somebody and mentor somebody, and you've got a culture that people walk in and they're begging to be a part of it, whether they're coming in as a front office team member or a dentist, right? When you've got a collections protocol that works well, and doctors know that we're going to collect the money, and the team knows we're going to collect the money, and we're going to be able to run payroll on time, and we're not going to miss payroll. When they know that we're going to see 200 new patients a month, and they're not going to have to worry about the volume of patients coming through the door. Like, you have to build the job you would want to take. Like, you wouldn't want to, like, if you would look at your office and be like, would I be an associate if nothing else changed and I was still here, and you said no? Well, then why would anybody else? That's why you have to pay them. People should be begging to work for you and with you, right? And if that's not the case, then how can you create that? And you're in control.
Yeah, and that's it's like it's very similar to a sales position. I know dentists don't like to hear that, but in sales, what you're trying to figure out is, what's my maximum upside, which is usually commission only. I mean, you don't get paid unless you do the treatment. And then the second question is what's my volume? How many at-bats am I going to get? And if you have a lot of at-bats and you have a high commission package that's commission only, that's like the best of all worlds. And why wouldn't you do that? It's almost better than owning because you have zero risk, zero overhead, zero, you know what I mean? Like I can go make more than an owner doctor in most situations or more like
with
the number
less
one
stress.
Yeah, no stress, no HR, no PR, no, marketing budget, no, all of those things, accounts like I'm not worried about that. Insurance and breaking the law. It's just like, no, I'm just doing dentistry. So you have all the upside and all the opportunity. So I would push back and say, man, if you are only attracting the people with a minimum mindset, then that means you probably haven't built the practice that the solid people want to work out, right?
Yeah, it's not going to be a popular podcast, Gary. I agree with you.
You think I'm going to get kicked out of dental for real this time?
Maybe so. We'll see.
Well, so this is really good. So we have several other things that I want to talk through because it's not just about should I hire an associate. It's pretty clear. Unless you're a brand new practice, you should be hiring an associate. Even if you are a brand new practice, I would start looking for associates. Like I would always be hiring associates. And the other thing that maybe we can touch on before we just close this up and talk about what the future shows are going to be about. I would also say like the other thing that people miss a lot of times about associates is it gives you ultimate flexibility because a lot of times people are like, well, I'll just sell my practice when I want to retire, whenever that is. And you're losing so much of your upside if you do that. But if you have an associate working in your practice, not only can you take time off, not only do you have like ultimate flexibility, but you can also just keep the practice and run it indefinitely.
Yeah, redundancy is the biggest cheat code in business that you can ever have. And I used to just believe that in technology and things. So we would have multiple scanners, multiple autoclaves, all those things, so that if something broke or whatever, we could still operate. But now, even more so, I'm learning redundancy in people. And we talked about that with the hygienists. We're talking about that with the associates. We're talking about that with the assistants, the front office. And that's how you get, when you can pair that with an engine, a marketing engine behind it, that's how you can grow indefinitely, right? That's how you can grow from being a 5-hour practice to eventually being open potentially 7 days a week with being open 12 hours a day, each day. You know what I mean? Like you wonder, how do offices get there? That's how. The redundancy forces you to grow into that, right? And I'm not saying that's for everybody, and I'm not saying that you should do that. But what I'm saying is, it's like if you're the office with 5 people, you should at least mentally run the calculation and understand what would it look like for us to get to 10.
Yeah.
What would 10 people, right? And what freedom would that give me? And would it be worth paying that money to have that freedom?
Yeah, I love that mindset is like buying back your time, however that looks. It could be someone mowing your lawn or someone doing the dentistry for you as well. Okay, so future episodes. So this is a really good start. Future, we're going to talk about how to get your associates up to speed. So I know you have some things that you've done in the past where you help them both by how you do the treatment, how they participate in that, also about who sees the patient first, and take it until the person the associate learns how to get up to speed. We're also going to talk about some different like pay structures, bonuses, mentorship, what that actually means, what associates are actually looking for, and how to deliver that, and then pay structures, and then red flags. We talked about this in our recent mastermind. If you're not in our mastermind, go check that out. Someone was like, hey, I have this associate. I'm having this problem, this problem, this problem. You were like, did they already sign? And you said, no. You're like, no. Don't tell them, rescind your offer to them. Why? You just gave me like 5 red flags. I wouldn't hire this person. I was like, oh, that's really good. That was really wise advice. And so, and we'll talk a little bit about like insurances and different things like that. So we'll jump into that in the later episodes. Any closing thoughts before we, shut this down?
No, I think what I challenge a lot of people in our mastermind, and what I'll challenge people in this, listen to this podcast that don't currently have an associate, is just explore your reason why you don't have one. There's a lot of limiting beliefs. And again, I had those same limiting beliefs. And I've totally changed my perspective on where an associate is. An associate does exactly what you said. It gives me more freedom. It allows me to grow my business. It allows me to be able to focus on the things that I'm uniquely gifted to focus on. And it really is one of the things. It's not about you stepping away from the chair. It's about you stepping into something that's uniquely yours, that you're gifted in, and that you might even have more passion for. Or it's just quite simply you having somebody else in the office that understands what you're walking through, right? So explore, poke holes in what your philosophy of associates might be and why you have it, and maybe what could change around it. And if you want me to help you with that, just join the mastermind. And I'm a broken record in there, so you'll enjoy it.
Yes, sir. All right. Awesome show. Thanks, Dr. Blake, for your time. I really appreciate it.
You bet. Absolutely.